You know, there's something I hear from so many people over 60, something that worries them more than almost anything else. It's that nagging feeling when you walk into a room and forget why you're there, or when you're mid-conversation, and suddenly the name of an old friend just slips away. It's frustrating, isn't it? That fear that your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. But here's the good news. Memory loss is an inevitable part of aging. In fact, there are simple, everyday habits that can keep your mind sharp, your memory strong, and your confidence high. And the best part? These aren't complicated routines or expensive treatments. They're small, practical changes that fit right into your life. So today, we're going to talk about 5 simple habits that can help you avoid memory loss after 60. These are things you can start doing today. No fancy equipment, no drastic lifestyle overhauls. Just easy, effective steps to keep your brain healthy and your memory intact. Let's start with the first habit, and this one might surprise you. Move your body every single day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Exercise is for losing weight or keeping your heart healthy, right? Well, it turns out physical activity is just as important for your brain. When you move, whether it's walking, swimming, dancing, or even gardening, you're boosting blood flow to your brain. That means more oxygen, more nutrients, and a better environment for your brain cells to thrive. Studies have shown that regular exercise can actually increase the size of the hippocampus. That's the part of your brain responsible for memory. And you don't need to run a marathon to see the benefits. A brisk 30-minute walk a few times a week can make a real difference. Think of it like watering a plant. Your brain needs that movement to stay healthy and strong. Now, the second habit is just as important, and it's something we often overlook as we get older. Stay socially connected. You see, our brains thrive on interaction. When we engage in conversations, share stories, or even just laugh with friends, we're giving our brains a workout. Socializing keeps our minds active, sharp, and engaged. But here's the thing. It's easy to let those connections slip as we age. Maybe friends have moved away, or family doesn't visit as often. That's why it's so important to seek out social opportunities, whether it's joining a club, volunteering, or even just calling an old friend for a chat. Even small interactions, like talking to your neighbor or striking up a conversation at the grocery store, can help keep your brain in shape. And here's a little secret. Socializing doesn't just help your memory. It boosts your mood, too. Feeling connected to others gives you a sense of purpose. And that's something we all need, no matter our age. Now, let's talk about the third habit. And this one is all about what you put on your plate. Eat brain-boosting foods. You probably heard the saying, you are what you eat. And when it comes to your brain, that couldn't be more true. Certain foods are like fuel for your memory, helping protect your brain cells and keep them functioning at their best. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds are fantastic for brain health. Then there are leafy greens, spinach, kale, and broccoli, packed with antioxidants that fight off the damage that can lead to memory loss. And don't forget berries. Blueberries, in particular, have been shown to improve memory and delay brain aging. Now, I'm not saying you need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Start small. Maybe add a handful of nuts to your morning routine, or swap out that afternoon cookie for a bowl of mixed berries. Over time, these little changes add up, and your brain will thank you for it. So far, we've covered moving your body, staying socially connected, and eating the right foods. 3 simple but powerful habits to keep your memory sharp. But we're just getting started. There are 2 more habits that can make a big difference, and we'll dive into those next. Because here's the truth. Aging doesn't have to mean losing your memory. With the right habits, you can stay sharp, stay engaged, and enjoy every moment to fullest. And that's something worth remembering. Now, let's talk about the 4th habit. One that's so simple, yet so powerful. Get enough quality sleep. You might think that as we get older, we don't need as much sleep, but that's not quite true. What changes is often our ability to sleep deeply and uninterrupted. And here's the thing. Sleep isn't just about resting your body. It's when your brain does some of its most important work. While you're sleeping, your brain is busy sorting through the day's memories, deciding what to keep and what to let go. It's like a nightly filing system, and if you don't get enough deep sleep, those memories don't get properly stored. That's why, after a poor night's sleep, you might feel foggy or forgetful the next day. So, how can you improve your sleep? First, try to keep consistent bedtime, even on weekends. Our brains love routine. Second, create a relaxing pre-sleep ritual, whether it's reading a book, listening to soft music, or doing some gentle stretches. And here's a tip you might not expect. Don't underestimate the power of sunlight during the day. Getting natural light, especially in the morning, helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to sleep well at night. If you've been struggling with sleep for a while, don't just accept it as part of getting older. Small changes can make a big difference, and better sleep means a sharper memory. Now let's move to the fifth habit, and this one is all about keeping your brain active and curious. Challenge your mind regularly. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens over time. But here's the good news. Unlike muscles, your brain can keep growing and forming new connections at any age. The key is to keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing yourself just a little outside your comfort zone. Now, this doesn't mean you need to go back to school or solve advanced math problems, unless you want to. It's about finding small ways to engage your brain every day. Maybe it's learning a few words of a new language while you drink your morning coffee, or try a new recipe that requires you to follow different steps than usual. Even something as simple as brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand can wake up new pathways in your brain. Puzzles, crosswords, and memory games are great, but don't stop there. The most powerful brain exercises are often the ones that combine mental effort with a bit of enjoyment. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to paint or play an instrument. Now's the perfect time. When you engage in activities that are both new and rewarding, your brain releases dopamine, a chemical that not only makes you feel good, but also helps solidify new memories. And here's something important to remember. It's not about being perfect. It's about the effort. Every time you challenge yourself, even if you make mistakes, you're strengthening your brain's ability to adapt and remember. Now, you might be wondering, how do all these habits work together? Well, think of it like building a safety net for your memory. Every habit supports the others. When you move your body, you sleep better. When you sleep better, your brain is more alert for socializing and learning. When you eat well, you have the energy to stay active and engaged. It's all connected, but we're not quite done yet. There's one more essential piece to this puzzle, something that ties all these habits together and makes them even more powerful. And that's what we'll explore next. Because here's what I want you to know. You have so much more control over your memory and your brain health than you might think. And every small step you take is a step toward a sharper, more vibrant mind. Now, let's talk about the secret ingredient that ties all these habits together: managing stress. You see, chronic stress doesn't just make you feel frazzled. It actually damages your memory over time. When you're constantly stressed, your body produces high levels of cortisol, a hormone that can shrink the hippocampus, that crucial memory center we talked about earlier. But here's the wonderful part. All those habits we've discussed, exercise, social connection, good nutrition, quality sleep, and mental challenges, they're all natural stress relievers too. When you move your body, you burn off stress hormones. When you connect with others, you boost mood-lifting chemicals. When you feed your brain well and let it rest, it becomes more resilient to life's pressures. Let me share something you might not expect. One of the most effective stress busters is also one of the simplest: deep breathing. When you feel tension rising, try this. Inhale slowly for 4 counts. Hold for 4, exhale for 6. Just a few rounds of this can calm your nervous system almost instantly. It's like giving your brain a mini vacation. And when you do this regularly, you're protecting your memory in real time. Now, I want to take a moment to address something important. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but where do I start? The answer is anywhere. You don't need to tackle all 5 habits at once. In fact, small, consistent changes often work better than big overhauls. Maybe this week you'll add a 10-minute walk to your day. Next week, you might call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. the week after, you could try one new brain-healthy food. Remember when we talked about how the brain can form new connections at any age? That's called neuroplasticity, and it means it's never too late to make changes that benefit your memory. Every positive choice you make creates new pathways in your brain, pathways that lead to better recall, clearer thinking, and more joyful moments. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your memory is a treasure, but it's not something you either have or lose. It's something you actively care for. Like tending a garden, the small, daily attentions make all the difference. Those walks in the sunshine, those conversations with loved ones, those good night sleeps. They're not just parts of your day, they're investments in your mind's future. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these habits resonates most with you? Maybe you've already discovered how much better you feel when you get proper rest. Or perhaps you've noticed your memory improve since taking up a new hobby. Your experiences can inspire others in our community. If you found this helpful, do give the video a thumbs up. It helps more people discover these simple, science-backed ways to protect their memory. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. We'll keep sharing practical, uplifting advice to help you live your fullest life at every age. Because here's the truth. Getting older brings wisdom, experience, and yes, with these simple habits, a memory that can stay sharp and serve you well. Here's to remembering the moments that matter and to making many more wonderful memories in the years ahead. Take good care of that amazing brain of yours. It's got so many more stories to tell.